Hey, good evening and welcome to Fish on Northwest of Wayne, England, the Barnum.
Yep.
Fresh off of the job site.
Fresh off of the job site.
Working in shorts today?
No, I actually got off early, went home, took a shower, went back to a meeting, and then came here.
Oh, this is you cleaned up?
Yes.
Oh,
this is as cleaned up as I get right now.
You cleaned up well.
Like, I'm living out of my truck at this point.
Yeah.
I don't know if my wife agrees with my lifestyle choices during elk season, but it is what it is.
We're going to get to that. We got some fishing and hunting to talk about this past week, what's been going on. David over in IT Corner making this whole thing go around. Of course, we'll be joined later in the kitchen with Chef Kelly and Sherry. And again, we'll remind you, it is a pre-record because Chef is up there blasting. He put some videos out there on Instagram this week.
Did he?
Of birds falling from the sky.
Wow.
And having a pretty good time up there in Canada. So,
I hate him.
Huh?
I hate him.
Because he's off having fun
Yes.
and we're freaking working.
Right. Right.
Yeah, so we'll get to that. Plenty of fishing and hunting going on to talk about for sure. Thanks for joining us. Fish Hunt Northwest is presented each and every week by Better Homes and Gardens Pacific Commons Real Estate in Puyallup, Washington, and we thank them for that. I want to remind you, first of all, thank you for tuning in, and grab our content and share it out there. You know, we are very active on Facebook week in and week out, and we appreciate a lot of you guys have started sending us information, links to different things going on. We got a little poo segment, Barnum, we're going to talk about water quality and poo. Hey, those two don't go together very well. Well, they go together when it's called a sewer, right? So we're going to have that discussion in a little bit, but it's information from you folks getting sent to us that we can turn around and use as an educational piece, and we appreciate that. Post up your pictures. We got some elk hitting the dirt, and pictures getting posted up, some successful hunts, some successful fishing going on. Want to share all that content with you guys as you send it to us. So be active with us on our Facebook page. Share our Facebook page to all your friends and family. Get them involved here at Fish Hunt Northwest. And of course, take some time, check out our YouTube channel. It's growing each and every day. We put a lot of content there weekly, videos and a lot of things going on. And we're going to get that going tenfold once we get out there in the field with young Alex and start grabbing even more content. Alex doesn't really want to hunt fish. He just wants to run camera. And that's the kind of guy we need. What?
I mean, yeah.
Well,
I need more friends like that.
I can't go with you because it's like, here, hold this camera. I'm going to fight this fish. And I'm like, well, no, it's my turn, Barnum. And so that doesn't ever work. So we got some stuff going on now that I'm pretty excited about. The availability to bring you guys more content via our YouTube channel and, of course, here on Facebook. So follow us each and every week. Be interactive. Spread our content out there and subscribe. We really appreciate that support. Anyway.
Did you know that we're competing with the Democratic debate tonight?
Oh my God!
So I'm sure all of our viewers are watching the Democratic debate right now, right?
Yeah, so that's our demographic.
Right.
Well,
Mike Breadstand said on there, I hope this has got to be better than the Democratic debate.
We will
Don't
try.
disappoint. We will do our best.
I actually got Elizabeth Warren here on the show sheet. We're gonna call her up and talk a little carp
There's
fishing.
some things I'd like to talk to her about.
We're gonna talk carp fishing with Elizabeth Warren. How's that sound? And she's got a great recipe too, I hear. So we'll get to that later on. Before we get there, let's talk a little fishing about what was going on this week. Me and Jordan, actually David, got to come out, experience a drift boat trip. He hasn't done that since he was a kid. We headed out to the coast. Not going to exactly say where, but everybody already knows. Because there's really only a few areas that are fishing right now on the coast because of, there's only a few areas that are open.
Right.
Waters in your home area seem to be taking off pretty good. People are fishing that. I may venture even further south to get down on some of that action because that could be really good this time of year. Last year when we were elk hunting, those rivers were just teeming with freaking shit.
And I guarantee you they're stacked right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, but we went down to the Gong Show, launching at 6:15 in the morning. It's barely getting light now. 6:30 about is when we're seeing daylight, and we pushed down around that first corner where everybody piles in. There were literally 10 boats there. Wow. I can tell you, gosh, I don't know, 6-8 years ago when we'd head down there, and keep in mind it was September 10th. A lot of folks didn't even start fishing the lower parts of these rivers until almost the 1st of October.
Right.
Last week of September, maybe after we got a bump of rain. Now, we had a situation where the river basically was double of what it normally runs this time of year. And even, for me, I'm going, I don't really want to go down there, but gosh darn it, man, that bump of rain.
Yeah.
And knowing the time of year and the fact that these fish wait for that rain, and when you're looking at it almost being double to what it typically runs on the mean schedule or status, you got to go.
Right.
You got to go, and you're going to put up with it. So The interesting thing was when you know conditions are right, waters come up, it's on the drop, barometer is stabilized, all the indicators are it's go time. You got a decent tide push on the lower end of rivers where you got about a 7 to 8 foot tide exchange, which isn't the huge, like we were talking before the show, 10 to 11 foot full moon cycle tides, which really bring fish in. I've seen these rivers explode like Alaska.
Which is right now with the rain coming.
Now, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so we're going to be there, but it wasn't this last week. And that being said, I figured, well, I told Jordan, hey, Beard, let's grab our stuff. We're gonna go get into some fish. This should be an epic day. It was really kind of interesting. We had an early egg bite that they jumped on pretty quick. Handful of fish were getting caught, and then it just kind of died off. And then it was really just very sporadic. You'd see, somebody with a bobber down, but we moved past a handful of folks and popped onto this little spot. Everybody just goes by. Right. And we pulled 3 fish out of there, and half our fish came on twitch and jigs.
Wow.
And Bobby Kratzer has been a friend a long time. He's a phenomenal guide. He's been in the industry over 30 years, well respected. He's basically the man that invented jig twitching. Up in Alaska, he brought it down years ago. Wasn't telling anybody he was doing it. Last week, he was on our buddy Owen Hayes' show, Outdoor GPS, and he did a phenomenal job. And if you you haven't seen it, go on the GPS Facebook page, like our page first, but go to the GPS page and watch that interview with Bobby Kratzer if you are still having difficulty with your jig twitching approach. And simply by him walking through the process and reminding me on cadence and rod level and all that, I basically walked in there and had that stuff on my mind and started twitching that jig, and it was 5 or 6 twitches. I got a nice dime bright Chinook on one of Jordan's jigs. Right. Jing jigs. And he was so excited because he had just got a nice coho on one of his jigs on a handful of twitches, and he's like, Dad, here, grab this jig, let's put this on. I go in there with this new pattern he tied, and it was 5 or 6 twitches. David's got it on camera. We'll roll that out here sometime down the road. But
now, catching Chinook on a twitching jig is not common.
Well, it's more common than people think. And if you talk to Bobby Kratzer, and we will, because we're going to get him on the show. He's asked a couple of days, hey, if you guys want me to come on, I will come on. And we'll have that twitching discussion with him. Cool. And when it comes to coho, everybody's like, oh yeah, the jig twitching thing's been around for quite a while. Right. But with Chinook and steelhead, a lot of folks think you can't. And the interesting thing was, this wasn't in like dead water, deep king pool. This was a 5-foot little drift. Yeah, it kind of bottoms out at the tail end of it where it slows. But I picked up that Chinook mid-drift, mid-river, in current that was actually moving along pretty good. But again, following Bobby's directions, you don't cast upriver, you cast perpendicular or slightly downriver when you're twitching. And it's not a snag fest if you're doing it right. Right. And these things hammered those jigs like crazy. And it basically saved our day because the egg bite wasn't happening on a consistent basis. So I think that's the point. I had put a post out on Facebook looking, how do you change it up if you get fish that just don't seem to want to be on the bite? For whatever reason, all the things historically and what's in your head or in your log that tells you these fish should be on the snap. And you got fresh fish teeming through the holes, and they're jumping out of the hole, and these chrome bright coho are just breaking water like crazy. And I'm going, oh man, these things are gonna be tuned up. They're gonna be ready to go. And they are, but with the proper presentation. Right. They don't want something just sitting there slowly floating through the water column. Even if it looks good, smells great, they were mouthing it very lightly. The float would bobble just a little bit. You get that classic, maybe that Chinook will take it in. We all have seen the videos. But they don't change elevation. So your float can go along and basically give you that little wiggle. If it's not bouncing up and down, typically, they're pecking at it. But if they just grab it and hold it in their mouth, trying to figure out what it is, and that float just kind of does this whole thing, they're not changing elevation. And by the time you're thinking, that's the fish, I'm going to set the hook, they probably already let it go. Right. And it's usually the case. So you had a lot of that going on. I don't have an explanation for it, although I didn't check the barometer. I can't tell you. It should have been stabilized that day when we were fishing. Right. Based on the pressure that moved in and where it was when we left that morning. We were fishing incoming tide. Everything was lined up, Barnum. It should have been lights out. But the bobber and egg bite just wasn't there for everybody.
That's what makes fishing fun, is when you think you have it all dialed in.
And they go and school you, right?
Whether it's fishing, hunting, anything in the outdoors, we all think at some point we get it dialed in, and then we get out there and it's like, what's going on? Yeah. Like, this isn't what it should be right now.
Right, yeah. So the jig twitching definitely worked. Do not think that you can't get these nice Chinook moving upriver on a twitch jig, half-ounce jig, something big and girthy that's going to hold them.
Right.
At least 30-pound braid on your spinning reel. And, you know, I was using a stout little 7-foot, 7.5 foot, 8 to 20 is my twitching rod.
Always using braid when you're twitching jigs?
Always using braid.
Okay.
I put on a top shot, you know, 3 to 4 feet of 25, even upwards of 30. Now, when you're fishing on some of these lower coastal rivers, you're around a lot of wood. Typically, you're going after coho, and you're around a lot of wood and debris, and they go right for that wood and stuff. No, they do. And you got to have, if you're going to fish that top shot, you got to have something girthy, abrasion resistant, and something you can really put the wood to them to get them out of, you know, that stuff. So twitching will work in all aspects of, you know, both coho and chinook. The next day, we had the opportunity to say, yeah, let's head back down there and do this again, and I was like, no. So we actually headed a little north of here and focused on a Puget Sound river. And most of our Puget Sound rivers definitely do have chinook and coho in them now. The pinks are kind of at the tail end for most of our rivers. You're still seeing some stragglers. The upper, you know, if you go up and fish like the Carbon on the upper Puyallup, those pinks are nice and green and humped up and slimy. Right. Really not a good table fare. Fun to get out there if you can get the kids on that and have a good time. You know, if we get these cooler temperatures, and for those of you that focus on your Puget Sound rivers and you want to target that Puyallup and Carbon, you just look for that freezing level to drop below 7,000 feet. That's the go time. Okay. 7,000 feet on our freezing level, those rivers are going to start greening up. Then it becomes a really good bobber and egg show, indoor spinner, you know, hardware show. And as these bigger cohos start coming in and we get those conditions of cooler temperatures, lower freezing levels, you're going to find success on the Carbon in the Puyallup. A lot of people stop fishing at that point because all the flossing is kind of going away, and for a good percentage of folks,
you have to actually fish.
You got to actually fish, right? So you can find sections that are not just cluttered with tons of dudes, and you can have a pretty epic day bobber and bait fishing or spinners. That's coming, and there should be plenty of fish based on the reports that are coming. So, but we did focus on a Puget Sound River bobber and egg. And I'm telling you, man, we got into a ton of fish yesterday. It didn't take a lot of picks because a lot of jacks, a lot of egg snatchers, a couple kings, you know, they had a little color to them. Some coho, albeit they're smaller, 4 or 5 pounds, not a lot of big fish. But we were basically surrounded by modernization. I mean, we're walking down a paved path to a riverbank, and we drop over the hill and start fishing in waters. There's not another person around unless they're up there jogging on the path. Wow. And there's a handful of Puget Sound rivers that are set up like that. Right. They're all surrounded by industry nowadays, and you pick which one you want to go fish, and you'd be amazed. And this was, after the day, Barnum, I was like, I moved down here so I can fish more of these rivers, because those rivers up there have become something that they typically weren't in the past. Right. And so it was time to move on. Now I'm down here, and everybody, this is the destination. Because for the last 10, 15 years, this is where the fishing's been. As we talked last week, we're starting to see a rebuild on your Puyallup, your Green, your Nisqually. There's some stuff going on in Puget Sound rivers that's going to continue to be on the uptick. And when you can find yourself a day with some buddies hanging out on a river in a populated area, bobber and egg fishing, having just a great time, you know, weather was great, and nobody else around. You're just like, why aren't we doing this more? Now the traffic to get there sucks. Right. I mean, everybody's commuting to work, so they just need to get out of your way. But you know, you get to experience, I guess, a day of fishing and enjoyment versus, I don't know, frustration.
So you're saying that there's a hope that in the next couple of years, all the guys that are coming down and fishing my home waters are going to stay up north?
Yeah. There's potential.
No, all joking aside, come down, fish it, stop at a restaurant, get some food, spend your money. We don't care if you take a few fish, but just spend your money.
You know, it's it just holds true with everywhere. Big crowds, lots of activity. Pack your garbage out. We'll get into the river poo here in a minute, but so that was kind of the week, couple days and opportunities on different bodies of water, and just kind of what we experienced based on numbers of fish, numbers of people. And you know, had good days on both accounts. Just a different approach and the willingness to change it up and go do something different from time to time. Just check it out, you know. So I have yet to go out and chase an elk. Right. Well, I haven't spent much time doing it, but a little. No. Your work schedule is a little bit cumbersome this year.
Stupid right now.
Not giving the opportunity that you want. That being said, you've been out a few times and seen a few, haven't you?
Yeah. So opening weekend was mixed. I mean, we were in a lot of elk on Saturday. Nothing really talking. I mean, I actually didn't hear my first bugle of the season. I did hear a couple bulls bugling Friday night before the season, but didn't hear my first bugle of the season until Tuesday afternoon. Ended up cracker in that bull. Didn't do very good there. Okay. It covered about 800 yards in about 5 minutes. I wasn't expecting that.
Oh, wow.
And I did the old face-to-face at 20 yards. Like, oh, there you are.
Did you really?
Hi.
Decent bull?
Yeah, a little 5x5. Okay. But yeah. And then Wednesday morning, we had our best morning. Got a bull going right off the bat, first thing in the morning. Made a good plan, dropped in on him with the use of Onyx maps. So effective to help you. I mean, I've been hunting some of these areas my entire life.
Right.
But to be standing in a location, have a bull bugle, checking your wind, understanding your wind, and then looking at the map and going, okay, this is the best way to approach that bull. And then doing it and putting that bull right in your lap. Yeah. I mean, within 10 minutes. Perfect. You know, and just, I'm going to blame it on my work schedule and everything that's going on. I got a little impatient and tried to thread a needle and force a shot, a 30-yard shot on a great bull. Great 5x5, real heavy horn. Right. I mean, big, solid, mature bull. Yep. And I apparently did not have my reading glasses on and did not thread the needle.
But you called him in.
Called him in, yeah.
Your approach was sound.
Yeah, the normal, I mean, really aggressive, a lot of bugling. He would answer every single bugle I'd put out, he'd respond to. And then if I would not bugle for a minute and a half, he would bugle at me to locate me. Oh. He wanted to find you. Yeah, he probably bugled 50, 60 times in the hour and a half we were playing with him. And when we left, after I killed an alder tree,
didn't you ask me if Chef had a good recipe for alder?
Right, after I tried to thread the needle and kill an alder tree. We continued to pursue the bull and actually called him in 6 or 7 more times within 30 yards, but he had kind of figured out the game in a sense that he would never really open himself up from that point. Oh, okay. I think the main problem was his cows were feeling a little bit of the pressure and they were moving up and they weren't stopping enough for him to come and confront us. Right. He would stay on a level, let us come up, close the distance, and then I think he'd realize, oh, my cows are still going, and then he'd move up to the next level.
If they would stop.
Right. If they would, our probably second best opportunity came up to a big flat. It was probably, 100 yards across and this is really steep timber, by 100 yards long, and he really came in there, but he caught us trying to get up on the flat and get ready, so we were pinned behind a big stump and just couldn't make a maneuver. And I think the cows were probably debating on bedding there, but because of the bugling and the pressure and the raking trees and everything that was going on, they decided to go up another level, and then he proceeded to follow them. Okay. And when we left, he was still bugling. With my work schedule, trying to get Hudson's already an hour late for school, and he's got sporting events, and it's just it's hectic.
Nuts. Yeah, just trying to get it in and get it done.
Leave the house at 5 o'clock in the morning. Go try to find bulls. Hopefully find one. Go try to kill him. Doesn't work. Be at work by 8. Drop Hudson off at school. Yeah. Work till 5 o'clock. Pick him up at school and go try to find another bull.
Urban hunting.
Yeah, I live in my truck. My truck is a disaster.
Your new truck or your work truck?
My work truck.
Your work truck.
Right.
Yeah. Your hunting truck, your work truck.
Yes, it's a disaster. But guys, hey, it was very similar to last season in the sense that opening day, a few elk got killed, not very many. Most of those were younger bulls that
it's people, a lot cooler than last year.
Yeah, and I think probably younger bulls that people had spotted and had a plan to go after, which we did too. And like I said, we were close on bulls, just couldn't get them to commit. Right. And then the rain showed up Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, and just shut it down. Yeah. Everybody complaining. And
sounds familiar, right?
Yeah. And then as soon as that rain clears out, barometer stabilizes, things kind of go. And we really, and I think, I've always wondered if it's a scent thing, because you get that rain, it washes out the scent.
We talked about this.
Right. Yeah. And I really, after this season, really think being in an area where I know there's elk all the time. Yeah. And you smell the scent going into those areas, and then that rain came. When the rain first came and just dropped a little bit, it was almost like that scent was just like I mean, it's like a wet dog thing.
Sure.
A dog stinks, you get him wet, whew,
Oh,
he
man.
really stinks.
Yeah.
But then when we had that really
Good
heavy
point.
thunderstorms, walk through those same areas, and it's just, you don't smell elk anymore.
Right.
And I think it takes a day or two for that estrus scent, for that elk smell to get back in the air to where the bulls are just,
Get
they're
fired back
tasting it
up.
all day,
Yep.
and they're just ready to go.
I think there's a lot to that.
Right.
And that was a good discussion you and I had last year.
Yeah.
Because very similar weather pattern. You got out last year, got your bull on opening day.
Yeah.
It was a nice day. It was dry.
Yep.
I showed up there on Sunday, and by Sunday afternoon it was
pouring.
pissing rain.
Yep.
And Monday, Tuesday it absolutely downpoured.
Yep.
And we went out and we were scouting and looking around and just trying to find. We were driving all over, getting on ridges, walking, squawking, making
Yep.
noise, looking.
Yep.
We saw 2 bulls in 2.5 days.
Right.
And they were 5,000 yards away on another hillside.
Right.
And all we saw was their big, white side standing over there.
Right. Well, and it creates a lot of problems because a lot of our hunting tactic is not. I mean, we're not even spotting and stock. I'm not trying to go see elk. I mean, we're dropping into areas where I know elk live.
Yep.
And I'm dropping in there and I'm making a bunch of ruckus. I'm making a bunch of noise. And when
Trying
we
to get a
have
response.
rain falling, wind,
Yes.
and you can't hear anything.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, I'd say 50% of the bulls that we encounter, it was a twig breaking.
Right.
It was a branch rubbing.
Yep.
It was something that we heard other than a bugle that said, yeah, haha.
Yep.
And we go close the distance.
Or
and,
rocks falling.
Right.
Or a big kaboom down in a valley, way
Yep.
down in a draw that
Right.
an elk just stepped on a big branch.
Right. I
and snapped
always
it.
assume every noise I hear is an elk, and
Yeah.
I'm going. And there's been times where I've got down there and went, squirrels. Jesus. Man.
Bigfoot,
The squirrels
whatever.
are dropping pine cones,
Yeah.
and I mean, you hear a thump, and
They
it's
did
like,
that to us
was a bull.
last year too.
That was a bull. I know it was.
Yeah, it's a bull. We chased that thing forever, and we come back up, and that squirrel sitting in that tree just looking at us like,
Pope and young squirrel.
got you
yeah.
get Pope young squirrel.
I'm down here 9,000
Yeah.
yards in Death Valley.
Now we got to climb back up
Yeah.
this damn hill because of a
So, but it
squirrel.
was, I mean, bulls are, the last couple of days, a lot of bulls have died, and the bugle activity picked up. Now is, if we get a chance to do weather, we have another front coming in.
Yeah.
I expect that to slow things down again,
Okay.
but hopefully the weather will stabilize after that, and things will pick back up.
Yeah.
That's the whole deal. And I see a lot of guys, it's fun to watch now on Facebook and whatnot, because I see a lot of guys that are starting to realize this, that, this weather is not good for the caller bow hunter.
Right.
It's great for guys that are doing spot and stock and trying to sneak down. It's great.
Yep.
But the guys that are calling are really starting to figure out, oh my God, the rain's coming. This sucks.
doesn't work.
Where it used to
Yeah.
be, 90% of the guys I would see on Facebook, like, oh, there's rain coming. Elk season's going to be epic.
Oh,
And
yeah,
I'm
they're
sitting there
excited.
going, no.
Yeah.
Don't pray for rain.
Different
please.
tactic, different
Yeah.
philosophy,
Yeah.
right? So, well, you'll get them.
Yeah,
You'll get 'em.
I hope so.
And if we got time, I may even venture down there. I may have to just wait for late season, go after a cow. But I definitely want to get an elk this year. So on the deer front, I got over, checked my cameras this last week.
Good.
I got 8 deer, all does, fawns, and yearlings.
Perfect.
And that's more deer than I saw last year, and it's way earlier than I've ever been over there. So I'm going to utilize that platform this year up in the trees. I'm going to give up on my ground blind opportunity.
Right.
And I think being above them, one, I can see way more.
Right.
So I'll
And
just
hear better.
and hear
everything's
better.
better.
I
See
can
better.
Yep. Yep. I may have to fashion some type of cover over the top of that thing, because when the bad weather comes in, I don't want to have to go sit in the ground blind. I can walk around the property, but it's just, you can cover it in pretty short order. So I think the approach there for a few days I may put in will be elevated above them and just kind of see how it goes. I'm intrigued with the activity I had there. All times of day. Them things are in and out there all day long. And that's encouraging. So I'll go check this weekend again, just kind of see what
the rain for me was kind of a mixed emotion, because I have food plots planted on the east side.
I'm
checking there, like, it's raining?
Right.
Oh, so I'm excited for that. My buddy from there called and said, man, you had a lot of rain over here.
Perfect.
So he's like, your food plot should be great when you show up. So.
Well, a couple things going on we want to talk about. So we had a post that a link was sent to us from, it was connected to the Skagit County Clean Water. And they actually have a link on there called poopsmart.org. Okay, so poopsmart.org is all about the problems that are being created with fishermen and ladies, unfortunately, utilizing the shorelines of the rivers to take care of their business.
Right.
This truly became an issue on the Skokomish the last couple of years it was open. People taking dumps all along the river bank and becoming an issue. Now, I kind of read into this and look around at different postings and read a lot of stuff, what's going on. You know, unfortunately, a lot of this is secondary to the homeless epidemic as well.
Right.
And it is a well-known fact, and you can see it for yourselves when you're out fishing some of the waters you've been fishing forever, and now there's homeless encampments along these rivers. They like to, you know, put up all these tent little cities and stuff along the river, and they got to take care of business too, and that's what's happening a high percentage of the time. There are not, I would hope not, a lot of fishermen walking up and down the rivers and just, you know, taking care of business right along the riverbank. That just doesn't make sense.
It seems like it would, no.
If you are, they advocate. You can go to this. You can go to this and do some great reading on poopsmart.org.
Right.
And you know, they're advocating, hey, dig a hole, bury it, whatever. Be a little bit courteous of other folks that are walking on the path, and don't leave it there for other people to step in. And you just don't want that on your felt bottom sole waiter. I'm telling you, that's not a good day, right? So you know, it's an issue, but to a point, I think it's not. You cannot pin this solely on the fishermen. There was an article written that stated on their website, Skagit County Clean Water, that WDFW is considering closing down Skagit waters secondary to fishermen defecating on, you know, in the wilderness. And I'm like, there's a number of folks that fish up there, but there's not nearly the numbers that there used to be.
Right.
And I can't see this being a systemic problem generated by the fishing public solely.
Right.
There's more contributors to this. And obviously animals are going to go wherever animals go. That doesn't matter. But for what we can control, our group, our user group, if that, you know, if nature calls and that is something you got to take care of, just be smart about it. You know, like it says, poop smart and take care of business. But it's just something that we brought up. It got a lot of traction on the Facebook page, believe it or not. People talking she-at all over our Facebook page. So just be mindful of that. There's also an announcement from WDFW. Now, Barnum, on the wolf front, as we follow pretty regularly here, they had put out a list, and I mean a list of locations they were going to host public forum meetings for persons to come and for them to receive insight from the you know, user public. And they wanted input. And they announced all those meetings, put all those dates out. Next thing you know, like a week later, they said, no, we're not doing any meetings, we're doing a webinar.
Shortly after they did some wolf calling. They decided
shortly after they did some wolf calling.
In-person meetings ain't the best idea.
So they had even alluded to were fearful of a hostile environment. Which, to their credit, is probably pretty true.
Pretty accurate.
There's some pretty pissed off folks.
Yeah.
Not everybody is walking down the path of, hey, all wolves need to be dead.
Right.
And a host of folks are walking down the path of all wolves need to be dead.
Right.
And you bring all those collective minds into a single room with WDFW trying to mediate. This is not going to go well.
No.
And I don't think the intent of the meeting they will not achieve the information they're after.
No.
There's going to get a lot of finger pointing and bitching and people pissed off.
So.
That being said, we've reached out to WDFW on a number of topics that we're trying to follow up on to get persons here in their respective area of expertise. Julia Smith is the reigning wolf expert with WDFW.
Right.
You remember when they hired her on and there was a big to-do about all the money they're having to pay to bring this lady in and whatnot. But very nice lady. We've been emailing back and forth. She and some staff have agreed, ungulate specialist to be one, with WDFW. We may end up with 2 or 3 folks here. Tentatively, the date is October 10th.
Saw that.
She sent me us another email. We may have to move that date based on their personnel availability.
Right.
Because of meetings and schedules and everything.
Right.
Which is fine. The bottom line is we are going to have Julia Smith and staff here in studio to talk wolves. We're going to attempt to open up the phone lines. We're going to have multiple conversations. We're going to talk the wolf plan in general. How it's being managed, what the intent was, who it was handed from and to whom. The feds got their thumb on it, the state, you know, who's ultimately in charge of this thing, right?
Right. I think it's very important to go over the wolf management plan because I think, at least on the hunting side of it, I think that's the most confusion. I think majority of hunters don't even understand that there is a wolf management plan and what's it about.
Yeah.
You know, so that's really important just to go over the key points of that management plan and how it works and how it affects management moving forward.
And so you and I are both on the same page in that regard. We want to lay that out there and let them talk about the plan from start to finish, what it looks like, where the money comes from to fund it.
Yep.
And if it's working, you know, what the ultimate goal is as far as number of wolves on the landscape, 3 different zones that they're to reside in, number of breeding pairs, all the numbers that substantiate this entire plan and what it's all built on, right? Then we can take a look at, is it working or not? We want to talk about conflict resolution. We want to talk about encounters with livestock, what the end run is there, you know, where the money comes from to pay these ranchers, how much they're having to pay, truly what the numbers are and how many heads of livestock have been killed up to this date. Do we see an increase in it in certain parts over there on the east side based on the number of wolves? We're talking 127 wolves, 15 breeding pair, 22 packs, something like that, right? Last time we checked the numbers. So the populations are growing, and there becomes more and more concern for folks over there. Had encounters with WDFW staff in the woods doing research. That lady ran up a tree. There's been other human encounters where one of the last stories we reported on, a guy had to shoot one with a shotgun, protecting him and his daughter. And we talked about the encounters, So,
and we're gonna, I mean, try to get to the bottom of what effect are they having on the ungulate populations. I mean, and they seem to be open to having somebody from the ungulate side come and have that discussion, because there's a lot of facets going to that. How many ungulates are being eaten by wolves every year? How is it affecting the effective breeding rate? Are they still breeding and having fawns and, you know, at the same rates as they were before? I mean, these are all questions that we need to have answers to.
Because when we talk to the hunters, they have something to say. They have some opinion about the numbers of elk they're seeing in the herds. And
it is, fact of the matter is, wildlife populations in Northeast Washington, where the center of this wolf controversy are down.
Absolutely.
I mean, there is no denying that. I mean, they've cut the doe seasons. I mean, deer populations are down. Moose populations are starting to turn. Elk populations are down. Is that an environmental factor, or are wolves to blame for that?
So you have to, you know, some of those things that we rely on for sound information would be like, well, why don't we have an opportunity on does over there this year? We've had a doe opportunity there for 25 years, and all of a sudden you don't. There's something's changed in the landscape.
All of a sudden we don't, and wolves are in the headlines every single day.
So we are trying very hard to get that dialed in. Tentatively, October 10th. That may change, but Julia has assured me they're looking forward to coming in and having this conversation, because they know there's not going to be a bunch of people in the audience throwing stuff at them. So
just us.
Just me and you. Back and forth. Hey, if you haven't got your Derby tickets yet, there's still time. Everett Coho Derby coming up. September 21st and 22nd. Tickets are $30 for adults. Kids 12 and under are free. We'll be there. And I'm hoping you're going to be there. We got to talk about that after the show.
We'll talk after the show.
We're fishing David's Bow. We're staying up there in Kingston. We got that nice house we're staying at. We're going to be up there for 3 days, enjoying our time, hanging out with people, looking forward to the awards presentation. They're giving away that fully loaded Weldcraft Rebel 202 hardtop. Beautiful boat, powered by Yamaha. Scotty Downriggers.
I need to win that, so I have another boat I don't have time to run.
Yeah, exactly. Ray Marine Electronics. This thing is dialed. They're giving that away, the Northwest Salmon Derby Series. The Everett Coho Derby, again, is the last Salmon Derby on the series for the year. Then it starts over again in January. But this will be the final hoorah. Typically gets a pretty good turnout. And on a year where the Coho run forecast is huge, we should see very high numbers of participants. Looking forward to a good time. We'll know a lot of people up there that'll be fishing, so it's going to be a lot of fun. And
so that's area 9 and 10.
Yeah.
Is it the rivers too in that area? Or
Yep.
No? Yep. Okay.
Yep. It's a big deal, and there's probably going to be some good sized coho by then. You would hope. We'll see as we move into this next weekend. They had the Edmonds Coho Derby last week. This coming weekend they got Salmon for Soldiers. Our in studio guest, Gretchen Dearden, will be here later on, and we're having discussions. One of those topics will be the Salmon for Soldiers Day of Honor, which is coming up Saturday, 2019, and a lot of good information involving that. moving past that, we'll get into the following weekend where we have the Everett Coho Derby. And
Right.
I mean, for $30, and then the side pools that you can get into, and they're giving away the boat, and to enter in and be in the drawing for that boat, you only have to enter one derby for the entire year.
Okay.
Once you've entered one of the Northwest Derby Series, you are in for the drawing.
Oh.
So last year, a guy from Idaho, I believe, won.
Yeah.
So he took that boat right on out of here. Headed on over to the Snake or the Clearwater or something.
Right.
So anyway, all right, yeah, so we'll be there. Hope to see you there. Swag items on our Facebook page. We're adding more to it. We got our hunting series that's coming out here in the next week or two. Got that pretty bad looking Hunter orange front, black back trucker style like we're wearing here. But yeah, some new patterns and sewn-on stitching on our patch now, and just kind of upping the game a little bit. Going to be reasonably priced. Got some really cool looking long sleeve tees coming out with that elk pattern on the back. That's one that everybody's jumping on board. So check out our Facebook page. The swag store is pinned to the top. Prices are listed there. Send us a message here, and Shing will jump right on that, and she'll take care of you. We'll ship it on out to your destination, and would appreciate you out there wearing our wares. So with that, we're going to jump out for a quick break. Barnum, not too far behind schedule this time. That's pretty good.
Bad. 6 minutes. We did good.
6 minutes. We did good. Gretchen Dearden is joining us in studio, and we have a ton of things to talk to her about. If you haven't followed her on social media, she's out there repping and representing on Wraptor Custom Rods. She is very involved with Salmon for Soldiers. She's very involved with Youth Outdoors as a board member. She's got a lot of stuff going on, and she deckhands for All-Star Charters on a number of boats up there. She's on Puget Sound throughout the majority of the year. She's a busy mom. She is out in this industry getting it done and loves to help people. And you know what? The cool thing about her is that she's so giving of her time.
Right.
And it's not about her in her mind. It's about everybody else. And that shows. She doesn't just like put this on. You know, you look at women in the industry and you're like, she's just trying to make a name for herself.
Right.
Gretchen's not trying to make a name for her. She's just out there helping people out of the goodness of her heart because this lady flat out loves fishing. I mean, you just can't stop talking. She can't stop talking about it. And she has a smile on her face when you're talking fishing. So we're going to bring her in. So we'll jump out for a quick break. We come back in, we'll introduce Gretchen Dearden as our in-studio guest. And we got tons to talk about. Don't go anywhere. Be back right after this break.
At Metal Supermarkets, we understand your need for fast access to a wide variety of metals, so we've made it easy. Our network of stores carries a wide variety of metal in all different types, shapes, sizes, and grades, with no required minimum order size. Who could ask for more? Simply tell us your dimensions online, on the phone, or in store, and we'll cut or process the metal to your desired size, often while you wait. We offer same-day service and can deliver the metal right to your door or job site. We even source hard-to-find metals, so no matter what you're looking for, Metal Supermarkets can provide it for you. And we're conveniently located with brick-and-mortar stores in Seattle and Portland, so you can check out our extensive stock for yourself. Superior customer service is guaranteed. Quality service from real people who know metal. We are the small quantity metal experts. To place an order, simply call a store to talk to one of our knowledgeable customer service representatives. Fill out a quote request online, order off of our e-commerce website, or visit one of our many locations and pick out the metal you want. Whether you're a small or large business, government, homeowner, or hobbyist, we make it easy for you to buy the exact metal and just the amount you need. We've been doing this for over 30 years, so we know how to get it done. Metal Supermarkets, the convenience stores for metal. Visit or call a Metal Supermarket store near you today.
I did.
Hey, welcome back to Fish Hunt Northwest. Wow. Way! How about that?
Hey, the weather's here.
That
Weather is here.
Bring it. I just brought it.
If we lose power, well, then show's over.
We'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week. Yes. Introduce our in-studio guest, Gretchen Dearden. We've been friends for several years now.
Yeah.
Met you I think I probably met you first time at a sportsman show or something.
You did.
Right?
As usual, I just probably walked up and gave a big old hug, and you're like, "Who is that chick?" Just randomly hugging everybody.
This is weird. This is weird.
Awkward.
Yeah. Gosh, so glad you made the drive 3.5 hours to come down.
Just a little haul.
Join this little circus.
It was worth it. It was so worth it. Thank you.
Perfect. Really appreciate it. Excited to talk to you about a number of things you have going on. So,
thank you.
You actually, for those that don't know, you spend several days a week out there deckhanding on Puget Sound.
I do.
All-Star Charters, right?
Yeah.
How long have you been with them?
This is the third year.
Yeah.
3 years, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How'd they draw you into that?
Oh, it's such a long story. But I was working at a clinic for a while, and then they'd had a company change or owner change, and they were kind of not being quite as nice to us, and I had one too many HR visits, and the last one...
Wait a minute. You got pulled into HR, you?
Yeah, 730 customer service awards, but I did get pulled into HR a few times. And I kind of told them about themselves, and they kind of said, we're parting ways. And I said, that's right. Yeah. And then...
That's right, we are.
Then I kind of, got my stuff and my pride and walked out like, oh my gosh. So I had my dress and my heels. I went to the nearest mini mart, got a 6-pack, sat on the back deck, going, oh my God, I have 2 boys to raise. What am I going to do? And I was fielding a whole bunch of calls, and Nick Kester had called me, a good friend of mine, and he was one of those calls and said, don't worry, kid, things happen for a reason. He goes, you want to go fishing Wednesday? And I'm like, yeah, I guess I have time to fish Wednesday.
Yes, I could. Midweek, this is new. Yeah. Let's do it.
So I did. And then he said, well, I had such a fun time. We were out bottom fishing during that time. And he said, well, anytime you want to come back on to learn, because I was so wanting to be out there. I just loved it. I was so happy being out there. And so I kind of kept inviting myself, and more and more. And then he had just, after a while said, hey, do you want to, a lot of the people that are on here really enjoy having you here. You love it so much. Do you want to deckhand for a while? Yeah. And I was just like, sure.
Let me check my schedule.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Still Wednesday with nothing to do. So, yeah, I did. And honestly, my kids are probably like, is your midlife crisis job done over yet?
Right.
And it's probably been the most purposeful thing I could have ever done. And the families, the kids, I get to share something so beautiful. A lot of these people don't get to go out on the water very often.
Right.
And our fishery is so beautiful.
It's crazy, isn't it?
It is crazy beautiful. I always used to go, it's probably one of the most beautiful office views.
How about this time of year, all the transient tourist folks that come in town, they book a trip through All-Star Charters, whether it's with Nick or Gary or whoever, and those folks are here to enjoy our city for a couple days, and you get to help them experience a day out there on Puget Sound. Yeah. And you get to watch these kids from the Midwest catch their first salmon. Right. Right?
Yeah, it's the most exciting. That's how I feel like a little kid with them. I get so excited, and you're going to be part of some kind of great family memory. And hopefully one of those kids are going to want to get outdoors more. Right. Or, it's going to trigger something in them, kind of like it did for me just a little later in life.
There's got to be guys that are just, there's got to be days of frustration with dudes that just are like, I ain't listening to the thing this chick says. She may think she knows what she's doing, but I've been fishing this all for 10 years. She ain't going to tell me. There's got to be some of that.
They don't have a choice anymore. They don't have a choice. They don't have a choice.
You basically tell them how it is.
Yeah, I know. And half the time I don't think I know everything, and I think that's another thing that
But you do know a lot, to your credit.
I do.
You've learned a ton the last 3 years.
And how could you not? I literally, between Nick Kester, Len Osborne, and Gary Ryan, I'm with the best all day long. All the time. Yeah. And walking the dock, poor guys. And I never forget when they go, I think it was Len that said, wipe that smile off your face, kid. It's not going to last.
Yeah.
And I said, yes, it will. I'm still going to be happy out here. And
Yes, it will.
I said, by the end of the season, I think Nick and I were throwing downrigger clips at each other and probably didn't have the biggest smile, but I did get it back. But I come down every morning. I think they've given me some credit now. I mean, I come down and I'm, good morning, and hugging. And they used to look at me. Now they're like, well, she's not going away. She keeps coming back. So might as well hug her and send her on her way. They're like my family now.
Does it wear on you? I mean, a week where you're on the water 5 days in a row, up at what time? And especially the summertime hours, 4 a.m. in that June, July time?
Yeah, when I start doing it outside to do it other for myself, when I went to go walleye fishing or tuna fishing, and then you do that in between, definitely. I mean, I tend to forget I'm not 28 or 38. I'm 48. 48.
You're not 53.
No.
So, you're not a grandma.
But you get up at 2:30, 3 o'clock every morning and you do that.
Yeah.
And if you have any doubles, like I give those guys out there so much credit because you give that double, you got to be on for that first group.
Right.
You got to try to find the fish and you got to whatever. And then you got to rally for another group.
Right.
Yeah,
because it's potentially their first time on the water.
Right.
They deserve every bit of effort, energy, as that first paying client in the morning, right? I mean, it's their time.
And there's so many of them coming, and they just are all so bright-eyed and excited to come. And that's another thing I love. I mean, they're always in a good mood.
Especially the kids. You love helping the kids, right? Which kind of segues into our other topic, of which you do such a phenomenal job with, obviously, and you've been involved for quite some time. Youth Outdoors Unlimited.
Right.
As a board member now even. So been involved with them for quite some time.
Right.
And it's all about these kids with disabilities and their opportunities in the outdoors. How'd this whole thing kind of get started? How'd you get involved with it?
I think Outdoor GPS had asked me to maybe sub in for a youth outdoor booth for Martin and Drew. But by the way, hi Drew. Oh, yeah. If I don't do that, I'm going to be in big trouble. Hi Drew. Yeah. And I met them and kind of fell in love with them, and then found out more and more about the organization, met the kids, which how can you not? Yeah. I mean, these are kids with life-threatening disabilities and challenges, and unfortunately not all of them make it all the time. But we forget how easy it is to just pick up maybe Harper and take her down to the water, or pick your kids up and take them hunting. I mean, it's, it is a process, but if you're in a wheelchair and they want to do a bear hunt or a deer elk hunt, and they deserve that opportunity. And so all that funding goes to help that family know they don't have to pay for anything. Right. Have that memory. Taxidermy, everything's taken care of. And I'm telling you, go to one of the auctions and you will be touched and changed forever. I think I've gotten wrangled up all the friends I can, Salmon for Soldier guys, my captain guys, everyone to go at least once. And you'll leave changed. This is the some of their annual events, these different auctions. They hold a few of them in different locations, east side, west side. Tell us about how those evenings go, what's auctioned off, where the proceeds go, or how these trips are developed. We're so blessed. And first of all, I just want to thank, I'm just lucky to be like a, kind of like a conduit to get to tell all this stuff or maybe get some sponsors. But these people work tirelessly to get donations and, guided trips and, it could be anything from camping gear to whatever. So it's a couple hours of, silent auctions and, whichever between Yakima, Tri-Cities, and we have Western Washington and Spokane, where there's a lot of them that come and just spend a lot of money on our kids, thank goodness. And then they get our kids. They get the opportunity to go out with guides through outfitters, different programs where we can take kids in wheelchairs, put them in a blind, and they get on a deer hunt, a bear hunt, a turkey hunt. A lot of different options out there, right? Or fishing trips too, don't they? Oh yeah, fishing trips, I think right now the majority are hunting, but we do have some guided fishing trips, which I want to go on so bad. But they probably won't let me, but I just... and, Sport Co., Cabela's, all of them are so great. They outfit the kids. And, I know for a fact that Sport Co. has been amazing with, providing a lot of guns to auction or, even they gave me a beautiful reel to go for with the rod that we made for little Macy, who we're going to fish with on the 17th. She won a trip thanks to Norman. Here in Puget Sound? Yeah. Okay. So Norman Carey had actually bought the trip bid on the trip and gave it to her to fish with us.
Oh, wow.
And then someone else, Wraptor donated a rod, and a gentleman wanted a rod, and it was more of a, kind of a man's rod, and they were going to give it to her, and I asked her what color she likes, and she's like, I like teal and pink. So, okay, sucker, we made her teal and pink and had her name put on it, and it's beautiful.
But that's the stuff that counts. I mean, these kids are so challenged, and their mind and their heart is so willing, and physically perhaps they're not able to, but you get them set up for success. You have all these people rallying around them, whether you put them on a boat, put them in a blind, help them, shoot, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But that success of that harvest of an animal or a fish or whatever, and just to go out there, experience that salt air in their face, and because
you should see them how happy they are. I mean, it's just
I probably couldn't do it because I'd be bawling all day. It'd just be too emotional.
Watch some of the videos, but they're just so happy too.
Right. Yeah.
And just little Macy wanting to go fishing, and she's fought cancer, and
unbelievable.
It's to me, and this is what they want to do as a family, and I'm so blessed to be a part of it.
Well, this is what you do. You help take care of other people. You're always putting yourself out there, making yourself available to do this stuff.
Selfish. I think it helps me heal as well. So I love it. I'm lucky to get to do that.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot more things to discuss with you as the show progresses here. We're going to jump into what's going on with Salmon for Soldiers coming up this next weekend, right? We're also going to get Jay in here later on, Johnstone, and talk about Wraptor Rods and where that company's going, how it got started, and your involvement with that. And again, you're just ingrained into the industry and just extremely busy, right? Do you ever see this all coming together for you like this?
Yeah. I still don't. I still get blown away, and I'm like, I just can't figure out. I mean, I wasn't outdoorsy. I never
think in
was.
the next 10 years, you're going to be chartering your own boat out there in Puget Sound.
They try to get to me. I like human life too much. They try to get me out doing that.
Could you imagine? You're going to end up like that old gal on the Perfect Storm.
I'll let Brianna Bruce, I love her, and she's out there
she is out there
killing it. If she's here, Brianna!
Right, yeah.
So proud of her.
Okay, so don't go anywhere. We got several more topics to cover with you before you get out of here and get to make that 3-hour drive home.
Yay.
Good news for you, traffic won't be as bad going home. Because everybody's in bed.
But the weather will be great.
The weather sounds like it's no worries.
It was so worth it, thank you.
All right, with that, we're going to jump out for a quick break. We come back, we're going to be in the kitchen with Chef Kelly and Sherry for the recipe of the week. Don't ask me to pronounce it because Shing butchered it the entire time, and I'm just going to let it go. So, something to do with halibut, cod, and a bunch of veggies. Sounds delicious, but we'll enjoy that right after this. So don't go anywhere. Taking a break. Come back. You'll be in the kitchen.
everyone, welcome back to Fish Hunt Northwest. We're here in the kitchen for the recipe of the week, and we have...
Bouillabaisse.
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 Forget it. Go ahead. I'll try it later.
Okay.
Okay.
This is a seafood stew from France. This is a very refined, very different from cioppino, I think, and this is something that I feel very passionate about. I grew up cooking in very fine dining restaurants, and this is something that I feel very passionate about. That this is a very much more much better version of cioppino. Okay.
Okay. The dish we did a while ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Anyways, so today we're going to be using lingcod. It's a beautiful lingcod fillet, beautiful halibut. Oh my gosh. So jealous. I never got to go out for halibut this year. I just was too busy. Yeah, I know. So we're going to start.
I believe that's Dwayne's.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I saw him posting all them pictures about him.
Oh yeah, of course.
So we're going to season our fish with some kosher salt.
Is that about 4 ounces of each there?
Yeah, about 4 ounces of each.
Okay.
A little bit of fresh ground black pepper.
And I bet you're going to do both sides, aren't you?
Yeah, duh.
Duh.
Don't be lazy. Season both sides.
I'm not going to take that personally.
No, it's not personal. I would never say that.
Yeah.
Okay, we got our pan nice and hot. Just have some vegetable oil here.
Boy, you have a lot of pans going around here.
Hey, we got some stuff cooking. Okay.
Smells awfully good.
The skin side always is not your presentation side. So yeah, the skin side actually is, sorry. The skin side is your presentation side. The spine side is not, okay?
Okay.
So, same thing with your halibut. There you go.
Very hot plate.
Very hot.
Hot pan, I guess. Just a little bit on each side. Sear it.
Yep, sear this like that.
Okay.
Okay, and then that goes right in the oven. And that's very typical of how we cook in the restaurant, is we will sear it on one side and then just throw it in the oven and start cooking.
Along with the baguette.
Yeah, we have some baguette with a little bit of extra virgin olive oil, garlic, and salt on there.
Okay.
So,
simple.
All right. So now we're going to start in our base. Okay, so we're going to, once again, with our vegetable oil.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and
I'll get out of your way.
Sorry. So I have some red potatoes, those little baby guys. I have them thin sliced right there. Get those going first.
Hot pan again.
Hot pan again, of course.
So that's about a half a cup of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
What's that, Chef?
Well, this is fennel. Okay, this is also another thing that kind of defines bouillabaisse too from cioppino.
Okay.
It has, kind of a licoricey flavor. If you've ever seen it, it's like a bulb, like a big white bulb, and it has some sticks coming off of it. It has some fawns on it. Yes.
Yeah. Saw that in the cart. Wondered what it was.
Yeah, it's delicious. Very common in Italian cooking and in some French food. More common in Italian, but
still readily available.
Oh yeah,
everywhere.
Most of your nice grocery stores will have it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not taking long.
Yeah. So we just small dice those. Have some fennel. So about half a bulb of fennel in there.
Done with those?
Yeah.
All right.
About quarter of a yellow onion. Small dice, and then some leeks. Make sure that you clean your leeks because they can be often sandy. I just did a small dice on that.
Yeah, those ones were quite sandy this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about saffron. Saffron's the other ingredient. You know, we got some from Trader Joe's. This was 0.7 grams. This was $5.99. So it's one of the most expensive spices in the world, bar none. Okay.
Barnum?
No, bar none. So to deal with saffron, what it is actually stamens from the crocus flower, and it's just, I mean, they're pulling off 3 little stamens. They're like little hairs off of it. That's why it makes it so expensive. Because
makes you appreciate it.
Yeah, you look at it, you go, oh, that little tiny thing. Yeah, you can feel like you're gonna go blind, you know, harvesting this stuff, right? Okay, don't forget about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I take is like a half cup of white wine, and then I steep it in there just like tea, and then you can see the color comes out. It's like this kind of
it just
orange,
bleeds out.
Yeah, orangish, yellowish kind of color. That's very signature. You can smell it too. You can smell the kind of a floral kind of a sense to it. Okay. Okay, so we're just going to add that in there. Add all my.
So it doesn't take much saffron.
No.
Just a pinch.
Just a pinch. Okay. We're also going to add in about a tablespoon of garlic. Okay.
You don't want any more than that?
No, I want that.
I will leave it. I know you'll want to add some more.
Okay, so I just came back from a bottom fishing trip, and I caught some sea bass, and so I saved some carcasses and pulled the gills out. Make sure you pull the gills out because they hold a lot of blood, and that's just not a good thing for fish stock, or fumet is what we call it, really. And just so some carrots, some onions, some celery, the fish bones, cold water. Some people go crazy and they even start their fish stock with ice. That's how.
Oh, really?
That's how important it is. Because what you're trying to do is trying to very slowly bring it up to kind of pull out some of that gelatin out of the bones.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we have some of that right here.
Well, and next time you should probably warn me what you have on the stove.
What?
Chef, open that up and see that head. It's like saying, eat me.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Okay, so we add just a little bit of our fish stock there. I'm gonna let that simmer.
Is that just plain fish
stock?
Fish stock,
Yes.
thank you.
Yeah, it's just plain fish stock. So this is gonna simmer for probably like another 5 to 7 more minutes. So, yeah. And we got a little time with our fish.
Okay. So now would probably be a good time to go ahead and take a break from the kitchen and send it back to the guys in the studio?
Yeah.
All right, let's do that then. We'll see you back.
Hey, welcome back in studio as the crew keeps building here. Watching that, I don't know, that one looks a little tough for me to pull off. The chef's got something going on in there that looks interesting. Actually, it tasted phenomenal, but I don't think I'm...
Well, you have it right here, but that's not spelled right or something.
No, it is spelled right.
Well, I can't even... What language is that?
I think it's French.
Okay.
It's bouillabaisse.
Okay. There you go.
Yeah,
You
it's
got it.
bouillabaisse.
Not what you say there.
So, it's bouillabaisse.
You keep that to yourself.
Yeah.
There's a lady in here. You can't talk like that.
Yeah.
I told you I wasn't a lady.
Oh, no.
Most of the time.
Most of the time.
She left the lady at home today.
They just didn't wear a hat, that's all.
Perfect. All right, we're going to do this. We're going to jump out for a real quick break. We come back. Jay, owner of and creator of Wraptor Custom Rods, is here with us, and we're going to do a little rod talk. You got a fishing pole sitting there.
Yep, I sure did. I brought one with me.
Attaboy.
So now you get to see what we're going to do.
Okay, something new and exciting coming from Wraptor Custom Rods. So we'll get to that. Jump out for a break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here on FHN.
the break of night, and the pink skies waving goodbye. She come out the break of night, leaving no traces around. She's trying to free a reckless heart. She's trying to be as light as the breeze. The queen of art, Friday morning. The queen of art, Friday morning. You'll be wearing her charm so frail. Yeah, she's trying to avoid everyone.
Hey, welcome back to Fish Hunt Northwest. We are here in studio. The thunder is pounding, the lightning is striking, the rain is dumping. Sounds like my gutters are overflowing.
Yeah.
They are.
So, yeah, well, you know, you do this, you ain't got time to clean gutters. You need to hire some kid, right, Alex? Yeah.
Right, Alex?
That's not what he signed up for.
I know you're doing
Rub
it.
camera, clean gutters, scrub toilet. That's on
Wait a
Alex's
minute.
list of to-dos,
Wait
right?
a minute. I do not want to be Dwayne's friend.
Right. Cool boy. Okay, Gretchen is still with us. Jay Johnstone, owner of and creator, founder, developer, CEO, Wraptor Custom Rods.
The whole thing.
Out of Oregon. Thanks for making the drive.
Thanks.
Yeah, well, you know, we
Thanks
said we
for
were going to have
having us.
Gretchen on, and we started talking. It's like, you know, we need to get Jay in here, too, and talk about the rods that Gretchen is helping rep and get people to become familiar with. And you guys, you know, I have followed your information for the last couple of years, just kind of on the outside looking in. I've talked to you at the sportsman shows, and I've seen all the different custom rods you have at your booth, and I'm like, boy, these things are pretty flashy. You got a lot of different things going on that most rod manufacturers don't do.
Yeah.
That being said, at the core of it, it's about the build of the rod, the blank, the action of the rod. Let's talk a little bit about the evolution of your company. Kind of how it started real quick, and then we'll just kind of get into what it is you're out there doing.
Okay, so I was looking for something else to do. And so I used to build rods when I was 17. Really enjoyed doing that, kind of got into it, and decided to go back to it. So I kind of had an empty garage at my house. I just kind of started messing with them and started building a few, and then it kind of got into, you know, doing them for my friends, fixing guys' stuff. Got hooked up with a company here in Woodland, started working on some of their stuff, and it just kind of progressed and progressed and progressed, and then all of a sudden now here I'm a business. And what's really kind of cool is over that time I've gotten to know some people and has helped us grow. And what's really cool is, and what I'm really excited about, obviously, is right here in my hand.
Yeah.
We went from a company starting as a hobby, using a lot of people's stuff to build a product, to have artwork and your name and company logos and all that kind of stuff. And now we're at a point to where we're starting to build our own parts.
Machining them
out of 6061T, which is this reel seat that we're making. You can go and look for them, but there's right now, as far as I know, with the information that I've looked for, we are the only company in the United States that is building a trigger reel seat machined out of 6061T out of a block. We're the first ones to do it, as far as I know. Now, I have seen, if you think back to like the Harnell and Harrington days, they used to put a metal reel seat on there that had a soldered trigger. And they would just solder it on the bottom, and that was your trigger. The most uncomfortable reel seat I've ever held. I actually have one in my barn, my house, hanging on the wall. But this is the first one that I know of out of the U.S. that is made right here in Oregon. The blanks are here made in Washington.
Right.
we are using a composite. I really like a composite better than I do just a graphite blank like a RX7 or something like that. I like the composites. They're a blend. You can get a softer tip. You can blend, make the base of the rod a lot stiffer.
Sure.
And the reason why I like the base of the rod a lot stiffer, so you're not bending it down through the reel seat and busting out all of the basically the glue that's in there to loosen them up.
Yeah.
So if you've ever had a reel seat that sits there and spins on you, that's why, is because the blank's bending through it and it's knocking everything loose inside there. Okay. And so what we do is about 24 inches up through here, we make this really, really stiff.
Stout.
Yeah. So it can't bend.
Gotcha.
We take that through.
What are some of the advantages to the one-piece metal reel seat?
Well, if you have a plastic reel seat, one of the biggest things is the flex, right? So if that plastic reel seat's flexing, it's loosening up everything inside that's holding it. The metal doesn't flex at all. The other thing are the nuts. A lot of the times those plastic nuts, how many of you guys wrapped black tape around them?
I have a couple right now.
Keep it from spinning,
Well, we don't have that problem. We have a double nutted
lockdown,
and it locks them on there. And so a lot of the issues are taken away.
Good. Yeah.
Also, we're making our own butts, which is the same thing. We're machining those out of 61T, and we're putting our logos in them. I don't know if you can see that on your camera or not, but our logos are cut in them, so you know that it's ours.
That's a new rod you're producing on your Salmon series there, or is that?
Yes, so this particular rod is, a lot of our rods, they get kind of spendy because we put a lot of effort into them. Like these guides we use on our higher end rods.
Double foot?
Yeah, it's a double footed guide. It's an XMN. It has if you look at the ring that's in here, it's like it's face mounted inside the ring. So it has, when the ring goes in here, it's faced in there when they put it in there and when they fit it, so it can't pop out.
Okay.
Other rings, you'll see the ring is kind of faced in the frame. It's faced in there, and a lot of times, they'll pop out, or they bend them, or you flex the guide a lot, and the ring will pop out. Yeah. Because this ring is faced inside here, there's less likely of that happening. Not saying it isn't going to happen, but a lot less likely. So we really like these guides. This particular rod that we're going to send out, we're looking at selling it in like the 230 range. So we actually are going to produce a rod that is going to have a great reel seat on it. It's going to be a composite rod. It's made all here in the Northwest.
What's the specs on that rod? What's the application for it? Where am I going to use that rod?
Yeah, just a boat rod.
Okay.
Basically, it's going to be an all around. It's a 9 foot, 12 to 30. Just divers, pro trolls, lead, all that kind of stuff. It's just the meat and potatoes rod.
Yep.
And that's why I talk about Harrington and Harnell, because that's kind of what we were using those for back in the day, and they were really stout and sturdy and great, just great rods. So I'm kind of going the other way. Everybody's going lighter, but I'm also seeing a lot of problems with the lighter stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of going the other way. I'm staying a little bit heavier and a little bit more, put it to it.
Downrigger rods? You guys got a line of downrigger rods?
Yes. I know you're bringing that up because we are building a new kokanee rod. And that is with Alex Ross is kind of helping me with that. He is the kokanee guy out of Redding, California, and Alex is very, very knowledgeable, and he is really helping us. We are going to build an 8 foot 2 to 6.
One piece.
One piece, yes. Right. And the mandrel's been made, so they're actually starting to be produced right now.
Graphite handle, cork handle, foam handle. You know what you're going with yet?
Well, I'm sure it'll probably be a wind grip.
Okay.
I'm sure it'll be that style of handle with a wind grip, that reel seat.
Yeah.
And haven't really decided on the guide pattern yet.
Okay.
But I'm sure Alex will pick his colors that he wants, and we'll start selling them here probably, I would think, by February.
Affordable?
Yeah, I think so.
Kokanee rods
are like, they vary anywhere between $80 to $90 or whatever. Our stuff will probably be in the $150 range.
Okay.
But you got to realize what you're getting to.
Sure.
Right.
I can get that Eagle Claw all day long for $24.99.
Yeah, and you can.
There's a pile of them at Walmart.
And replace them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I've had guys tell me that they'll take an ink pen and write their name on it. And hey, that's great. But we're here to personalize stuff and try to do a better job and have it made here.
Well, I said downrigger, but I mean, salmon downrigger too, larger scale rods?
Yeah, we do that. Yeah, we do all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, Bill Monroe, Tyler Stahl, and Chris McMahon are using our 12-024s, which is great for that. They use 360s. A lot of that my guides are using or going to our composites and kind of getting out of some of our graphite stuff that we've been using.
Your deckhand has all year,
last
3 years.
So the deckhand, our deckhand has on the charter that she's been using.
Yeah, and they take a beating,
they take a big time beating.
They've handled really well.
10.5 foot downrigger rod?
10.6.
Yeah.
So
it's been great. On Nick's boat, we do go 9.6, honestly, because with the clients there, it's a lot easier.
Sure.
It's a lot easier if they have never handled a rod before and netting a rod, or netting a fish, excuse me.
Yeah.
So, but most of the time, 10.6. I love that rod.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're turning out some of your own blanks. You also run on some other style blanks and whatnot, or
yeah, we do.
We still
do some of the rain shadow stuff.
Okay.
People still like that.
Yeah.
And I still like some.
Well,
of
they're
the
good
blanks.
blanks.
Yeah.
They've been around forever.
Yeah, they have been.
Yeah.
We also are getting into doing some roller rods, which has kind of gone away. People don't really we don't really have that here, but we've been kind of bringing it back. Jamie Staniford will be using that with some of the tuna fishing that he does, and we're working on actually hopefully being in a trip this month.
Okay.
I'm hoping.
Okay.
To go and do some of that.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, well, you guys do have a pretty extensive blue water series of rods. I mean,
yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did that because you can't really find them around here.
Right.
And so, I mean, especially our halibut season here, having having a roller rod where you can go throw a 48-ounce cannonball on it.
Yeah.
Reel and reel and reel, right?
Yeah.
So, and then we have a sturgeon line that Jody Smith helped me with, and you know Jody Smith.
Yep.
He fishes for the big sturgeon up there on the Columbia.
Yep.
When they get that opportunity, so we've made some rods that were actually with a lot of his input.
Yeah, well, he's a good guy to get input from. As he's on that lower Columbia, down that estuary water, doing those catch and release sturgeon trips quite a bit. You see him out there often. And of course, you got your whole trout line series. You're pushing trout rods throughout the nation.
Yeah, we do.
You fish trout everywhere in this country.
Yeah.
So much like we were talking before the show, it's a staple for a company as long-standing as Pautzke's. We think here in the Northwest, because we're salmon and steelhead snobs, that's where the money is, and the reality is the money's in trout. Right. And as a rod manufacturer, trout rods are just, I mean, you can sell them in any state in the nation. So
right.
I can see that happening. So anything else? Well, one thing you and I kind of discussed before the show was, the rod business in and of itself is pretty competitive. And rod companies seem to come and go, and some have been well ran for a while, and then whatever happens, for some reason, they just end up ultimately having to fold up shop. So it's pretty competitive. There's still a couple big names out there that take the lion's share in this particular part of the country. So how's a guy like you continue to develop a rod company that's going to be here for a long time?
Customer service.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to say it.
Yeah.
A lot of times, let's talk about warranty. It's the taboo thing to talk about.
Right.
But our warranty, and this is what I kind of tell everybody, we're in this together, right? If you purchase one of our rods, we're kind of in this together, right? How many of them actually get broken on a fish, right? So on my side, I'm like, hey, did you really break this on a fish? It's flattened. Right.
Like it was snapped.
Right, yeah.
Right.
And, some of it's legitimate.
Sure.
And so what I tell them is this is what I do. I ask them to pay for the top if they break one, which is $30. We rewrap them for free.
Yeah.
So what we do is and our parts, because we use good parts, they don't go bad.
Right.
And so we just take the parts off, put them back on the rod, and rewrap the rod. And as far as the shipping goes, if you send a rod in to me, I'll ask for a return label. If it's a long ways, if you're within town, which is, basically, what's that, Vancouver down to Southern Oregon, basically, just send it to us. We'll send it back to you.
Okay.
So it's a fair deal, I think, because a lot of companies are like $75, $80 I've seen. Some of them are more than that.
Yeah.
And so all I want to do is I want to get what we had to put out because we're into this together. And let's be honest here. Some of these didn't get broken on a fish, because composites are pretty tough.
Yeah.
And, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But I would say a lot of the times they don't.
This time of year, August and on a humpy year is classic. You know, our son Jordan works at Sportco, runs the fishing department, and the amount of broken rods that come through that door day in and day out during the month of August on a humpy year
Quite a bit.
is just every single day. And these guys are bringing in, you know, a 10-foot salmon rod, 10 to 30-pound rod. Yeah, I broke it on a humpy. It's like, no, you didn't.
Oh, come on.
That must be a Godzilla humpy or a state record.
Right?
You lost the state record. Congratulations.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you know, the stories are just nonstop. And the fact is, I would think if people just be truthful, my kid stepped on it, broke the top.
Yeah,
They're going to be like, hey, we can take care of you.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we do.
Right.
And, you know, I got, you know, people like Gretchen and the other people that are working for us or around us or helping us. You know, they're all nice people.
Yeah.
And that's really what we try to stick with. We try to stick with the nicest people we can.
Customer service.
You know?
I mean, you said it right off the top.
Right.
That's the key. You know.
It's a lost art anymore.
Yeah, it's you know, the days of getting everything replaced for free are long gone.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. And
No.
like we were talking earlier, part of that too, that those companies are gone, is because people have taken advantage of it, and those companies can't survive,
Right.
Because they put it out there as an agreement,
Right.
And now they've got to abide by it, and it's putting them out because they got to keep replacing something that they can't really afford to do.
Yep, exactly. Okay. Any final thoughts? Where can people find your rods? Let's talk about that before we get out of here.
You can find us on obviously Facebook,
Right.
Right here.
Yeah.
That's the way to find us on Fish Hunt Northwest. So,
Right.
Yeah. We do have a rod on Amazon, which is our roller rod. We are now working on pushing to a bass rod.
Okay.
You can find us in some stores around here, England Marine being one of them. So we're pretty easy to find if you just type our name in, and
Sure.
it's WRABTOR.
I was going to say finish.
So yes,
We don't grade on spelling. Right?
thank God.
Will you, coming up this next year, will you be at the Puyallup and Portland Sportsman Show?
Right now, I'm signed for the Portland show.
Okay.
I have
All right.
done that.
Okay.
We started talking about doing something in another state.
Yeah.
And so I'm not real sure if we're going to do a second show or what we're going to end up doing there. But we are signed for the Portland show.
We'll have you down in Portland. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, Jay, thanks for making the drive. I know it's not just down the street for you, so.
No, it was great.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, you got fed well.
I was just going to say your hospitality is amazing. You walk in here, you got food laid out, you know. Hey, you want a beer? This is really laid
That's
back.
all her.
That's good sherry.
That's all her. That's Graham over there. Yeah, she's taking care of everybody.
No, did a great job.
Yeah,
really did.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Don't be a stranger. We'll definitely keep you coming back. So
cool.
Perfect. Any final questions there, Barnum?
No, I think he covered it.
Yeah.
We did have a question of a viewer asking what do you guys have for side drifting rods?
Length and weight.
Probably something like a 6 to 10, 9.5 foot, 6 to 10.
So
rod.
we'd probably go 9.5, 8 to 12.
Probably.
Is probably where I would be. Because when I hear 6, I'm 8.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's just how my numbers roll. If you're thinking lighter, I'm going to probably be a couple pounds heavier. Just keep that in mind when you're calling us, because I'm always a little bit on the little bit heavier side.
Yeah.
So, but I don't have that many rods coming back. We really don't.
Yeah.
I mean, you can walk into my shop and you will literally see maybe one, if at all. I mean, we really don't.
Yeah.
Good.
So
That's a good thing.
yeah.
Well, check them out on Facebook. Look up Wraptor Custom Rods. They're easy to find, as Jay stated, and we'll definitely continue to put some information out there about you guys. I like what you're doing. I think you got some good stuff going on. So with that, we got a recipe that we need to let them, allow them to finish in the kitchen, albeit it's pre-recorded. So and everybody,
They're not waiting on us.
they're not waiting on us. I mean, right now, I think it's probably another segment that's with, it's light outside the kitchen window and it's dark and dumping rain out here like an elk peeing on a well. So, yeah, we'll get to this second part. We're going to jump out for a break. We come back. Don't go anywhere. You want to finish the recipe with Chef Kelly and Sherry in the kitchen. Bouillabaisse, I believe is what it's pronounced there, Barnum. You can look that up at the break. And thanks again, Jay, for coming in.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Okay, go out for a break. Come back. We'll be in the kitchen with Chef Kelly and Sherry right here on FHN.
At Metals Supermarkets, we understand your need for fast access to a wide variety of metals. So we've made it easy. Our network of stores carries a wide variety of metal in all different types, shapes, sizes, and grades, with no required minimum order size. Who could ask for more? Simply tell us your dimensions online, on the phone, or in store, and we'll cut or process the metal to your desired size, often while you wait. We offer same-day service and can deliver the metal right to your door or job site. We even source hard-to-find metals, so no matter what you're looking for, Metal Supermarkets can provide it for you. And we're conveniently located with brick-and-mortar stores in Seattle and Portland, so you can check out our extensive stock for yourself. Superior customer service is guaranteed. Quality service from real people who know metal. We are the small quantity metal experts. To place an order, simply call a store to talk to one of our knowledgeable customer service representatives. Fill out a quote request online, order off of our e-commerce website, or visit one of our many locations and pick out the metal you want. Whether you're a small or large business, government, homeowner, or hobbyist, we make it easy for you to buy the exact metal and just the amount you need. We've been doing this for over 30 years, so we know how to get it done. Metal Supermarkets, the convenience stores for metal. Visit or call a Metal Supermarket store near you today.
Everyone, welcome back to the kitchen, and we're finishing off the bouillie base.
Yes, bouillabaisse, our French seafood stew.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so we have everything ready to go. Our base is done. Our fish is cooked. Now we're going to work on the classic sauce that goes with it. Pretty much, if it doesn't have this sauce with it, it's not bouillabaisse to me. Okay, so yes, it's called roux. Say it.
To you.
Yeah, to me, yes. Okay.
If you don't have roux.
Yes, you don't have roux. Okay. Okay. I cooked too many years in French restaurants to not get this right. Okay. Right. So my style of roux, and there's different variations of this. There's variations where they have stuff with breadcrumbs and roasted red bell peppers, and then the egg yolks and olive oil and garlic. Okay, and that's perfectly fine. You know, I agree with it. It is classic, but in my culinary school, I was taught this. It's more like a mayonnaise based.
Mayonnaise based.
Okay. So since it's a mayonnaise based, we're gonna start with 1 egg yolk. I'm gonna go a little plus. Okay. Then we have our saffron that's been steeping in a little bit of lemon juice. So we're gonna add a little bit of that. I'm gonna hold back on that just to see where we're at.
Always add some.
You always add some more, right?
Right.
A little bit of salt. A little bit of fresh black pepper. Okay, lots of garlic. I'm gonna say there's 2 teaspoons of fresh garlic.
Okay, good thing I kept it here for
right? The other thing I like to put in mine is good paprika. Good paprika, you found out that it should have
completely different.
Right? So I'm going to add about a teaspoon of paprika. Okay. Get that all mixed up.
Good.
You can smell it. It smells a little almost smoky like.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so now Sherry's going to drizzle in some extra virgin olive oil while I mix this in. Keep going.
More?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
You're going to do probably all that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So typically, if you were going to make mayonnaise or aioli, you would have mustard in there, and this one just doesn't have any mustard in it.
Oh.
And another thing is that, you know, traditionally you would make this with a mortar and pestle. And if you've ever run, you know, a mortar and pestle before, it's kind of clunky. It's kind of, and
Clunky?
yeah, you'll see what I mean if you ever do it.
I love your terms.
Yeah, right? All right, there we go.
Yeah.
And so you can see how it came together. Just like a mayonnaise,
Beating that thing.
right? Can you give me a rubber spatula?
Sure.
Okay, so now we are going to finish our base here. So we have some of the fennel fronds. I just kind of diced up. Gosh dang it. I have my garnish in there too.
Fennel fawns.
Yeah, it's just the tops.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Just kind of reiterate all that same licoricey flavor in there. Okay. And bouillabaisse should have some tomato, and we're going to add just a little bit of heirloom tomatoes, cherry tomatoes here.
Those look nice.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm going to add the juice in there too. Okay. A little bit of thyme. Also is very, very typical of this dish. I like to add just a little bit of oregano in mine. Okay. There we go.
We're plating.
We're plating.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so you see all those goodies in there. You got tomato, potato. That's one of the other ones about the, some it's controversial is, does it have potato or not? I like to have it in there because it kind of feels more like a meal. You know, it has a starch component to it.
Yeah.
I know you're, anti-starch, kind of a keto person. But yeah.
Well, I'm not going to substitute cauliflower anymore.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. People are sick of hearing substitute cauliflower.
Okay.
But it is good.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
If you don't want to, oh yeah, take that, please. Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
Okay, so then we're going to spoon on our roux on top of our fish. Roux. Yes. Just like that. I say, yeah, I had a couple fennel fronds on there. This is a little garnish. We have our baguette crostinis that we did earlier.
Oh my goodness.
Right? So you can see, guys, how totally 100% different this is than a cioppino.
Okay.
Less tomato. You can see that right off the bat. The saffron color has that bright, vibrant yellow color to it. The roux sauce is key to it.
Okay.
And there you go.
And it's a dead dish without the roux.
Dead dish, okay?
Yes.
Don't say, oh, it's bouillabaisse and it doesn't have roux.
Don't say that.
Dead to me.
Okay, while we dig in, we're going to go ahead and shoot it back to you guys in the studio.
Welcome back in studio. Now we're downsizing.
Shrinking back
I'm
up.
still here.
Oh,
I don't know how that happened. Can't get rid of me.
Jay had to get on the road.
trying.
Well, both of you guys got about an equal drive. You just come from north, he's down south.
I think I got almost a solid hour on him this time with the traffic.
Yeah,
but
maybe
no,
we'll
it's
do
about
that.
equal when there's no traffic. Yeah.
Well, either way, 6
Either
hours
way.
between the two of you, so what the heck.
Worth it.
Yeah, so that recipe, bouillabaisse, I believe is what it's pronounced.
You got it, I think.
Oh, you
Got a
guys,
whole lot
you
of
just
stuff
won't
going
say it.
on there, but man, I tell you what, that is freaking delicious. So, Barnum, we have a couple options. We could have simply taken a camera outside, stuck it out.
I wanted to.
Just,
I wanted to do like one of them, like
Here's your-
on location hurricane.
Put you in that
Oh,
yellow
gosh,
slicker.
Yeah, put in my
Funny.
yellow slicker.
Fire up the fan.
It's crazy out here.
Have it blowing.
Right.
Hold on to a pole.
Like
Yeah.
geese trying to battle the way
right.
right by me.
We could have done that.
Yeah.
Or we could simply have you get your carcass up there and give us
Yeah,
a
I'd
weather
rather
report.
stay dry. I spent enough time in the
Yeah, plus you're wearing
elements.
shorts.
Right.
Showing off them sexy
Right.
legs again.
Hey, I actually wore shoes today.
I see that. Cody can't bust your...
It's
yeah.
elk season.
It is elk season.
Like you can't wear flip flops.
So we got a weekend coming. Taking Harper to the fair tomorrow, by the way. So what's the weather out?
Well, let's see.
yeah.
Let's see.
What we got going on?
Well, here's Lacey for today, which it's called turning cloudy, and then tonight rain ending, and tomorrow not as warm. So
Gotcha.
you're gonna want to bundle up a little bit, I think. But they're still calling for 71 for a high.
Oh.
As we click forward here to the weekend, mostly cloudy on Saturday. According to this, looks fairly dry, and I'm gonna jump up and look at something here in a second, which has me a little confused. But and then Sunday we're gonna get some brief showers, and Monday we go back into that same showery, fall weather. Nothing horrible, but as I kind of look, this is what we're seeing tonight.
That's a thunderstorm. Coming
Yeah,
through.
that's what we're hearing outside the
They're
studio
getting hammered up
tonight.
north again.
Yeah, again.
Wow.
Pretty bad. Not too
Yeah.
bad down south. So everything should be stable. And like I said, we just went through the forecast and kind of said showers,
Yeah.
showers,
Yeah.
nothing major, right? So now let's click over here and kind of look at some rivers.
Oh.
This is what has me confused. So this was last week. This was the rain we had, or not last week,
Oh,
but the
the
beginning
10th.
of the week.
Yeah.
Yep, the 10th.
Yeah.
There's the big spike, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and that was pretty substantial rainfall, right?
Yeah.
Well, rivers are coming back down. It looks like for the weekend things are going to calm down, but right here around Monday,
Yeah.
something's coming.
Yeah.
A big spike. But when I go through the daily Doppler or the daily weather on the forecast,
It doesn't show it.
they're not calling for this
Right.
more substantial rain than we had at the beginning of the week.
Interesting, yeah.
So I'm a little confused on that, but both rivers show it. I clicked on the Sats up earlier. You can see it coming for
Yeah.
Monday, Tuesday. And then I clicked on the Willapa for all you guys that are going down south and fishing the Willapa. And it's even more substantial on the Willapa.
Look at that.
Quite a bit more than what we saw at the beginning of the week.
Yeah, interesting.
So expect rivers, through the weekend to be pretty calm. Going into the beginning of next week, it looks like things are getting wet, according to the river forecast. You guys that are out fishing Puget Sound, I mean, we have that shower, blusterly weather coming, thunderstorms. You hear the lightning tonight. You're looking at Saturday, south wind 5 to 15, becoming 10 to 20 in the afternoon, wind waves 1 to 3. Looks like it's going to get pretty gnarly Saturday night, but Sunday morning it lays down a little bit, 5 to 15 again, wind waves 2 feet or less. So, I mean, it's not looking unfishable on the Sound.
Sure.
But, I mean, look for Saturday evening, Saturday night to be a little hairy, 2 to 4 feet.
Yeah.
So,
You'll be off the water by then, Gretchen. You'll be
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, that's what I asked him too. I'm
You'll
like,
be fine. Yeah.
So yeah, we're in case you guys haven't noticed, fall has arrived.
Yeah, fall is here. Has anybody actually looked at the calendar to see what the first day of fall is? I have not yet.
I don't know, but I was, looking at the average temperatures, what they have forecasted for the next 10 days, and
Yeah.
we went from a week ago where we were upper 70s
Yeah.
to 50 at night, and on the east side you were looking at upper 80s to 90s to upper 50s at night,
Yeah.
and now within like a 3-day period that flopped, and you're like mid 60s. With lows in the 40s,
Right.
and on the east side it's mid 60s with lows in the 30s.
Originally,
overnight.
originally long-term forecast for like the month of September was bone dry.
Right.
We were going to have a little bit of weather push in the very first week of September, which we did. And after that, the long, 3-4 weeks was just, I was like, oh my gosh, we're going to roll into the 1st of October when a
Right.
number of our additional rivers, coastal rivers and whatnot, open up for salmon
Yeah.
fishing. And there's going to be no water. This is going to be like 2015, 2016. And so far, this is completely changing.
Right.
I mean, hunting will be fine. We'll have some dry days. You're going to get your elk. I'm not worried about it.
I
And
hope so.
deer hunting's going to just, we'll do fine. I'm actually getting a little more excited about the potential that by the time we roll into first week of October, we could have some water in these rivers.
Yeah.
It's going to do a couple things. One, it's much better for a higher survivability of our salmon.
For sure.
Getting up and spawning in a normal time and fashion, and survivability of spawner recruitment. And the other side of that is spreading out the pressure.
Right.
You don't have a couple rivers that are like doing really well, and everybody just storms to those rivers. So in that regard, I say bring on the rain. I mean, we didn't really have a crazy hot summer like they predicted anyway. So
Can
let's
we get one more week of dry weather? I mean, I'd really like to hear some more elk bugling. I've only got to play with a couple bulls, and it's just not. It wasn't cool.
Yeah, gotcha. You'll get your elk, and then I'm going to come down there and get one as well. But all right, we are going to jump out for our last commercial break, and when we come back, we got Gretchen Dearden still here with us, enjoying your coffee. Anything in that coffee cup, or just?
I'm keeping it all right.
We're gonna jump into this whole Salmon for Soldiers event that you're going to be part of this weekend. Pretty excited about that. The weather looks conducive to catching fish.
He does. I was a little worried, but he's my mind. We're going to be fine.
He's our Steve Poole.
He is. I just want to call him. Thanks, Steve.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, Steve?
A friendlier Steve Poole.
Yes, absolutely. A little history there. So we will.
I want to hear that story.
Yeah, that's a good one. We will jump out for a break. We come back. We're going to talk with Gretchen on Salmon for Soldiers, which is coming up this weekend. Exciting event that if you're not part of, you need to at least learn about it so that perhaps next year you can get involved. So jump out for a commercial. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Hey, welcome back in studio. Fish on Northwest, Wayne, England, Kelly Barnum, and our lovely guest, Gretchen Dearden.
Hello.
Still hanging out, huh?
I'm still here.
Yeah, I'm still here.
I'm still here.
You said you
It's
just...
only because the rain.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to drive.
She's
waiting for it to go away a little bit.
Well, you know, if the rain scares you don't want to drive home, you got the extra bed up there, and you know, man, Remy crash or.
Man, I could stay here anywhere. It's just beautiful here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're welcome to come back anytime.
Thank you.
And enjoy it as we do. So, hey, you got a little event coming up this weekend. Salmon for Soldiers, and there's a handful of folks need to give credit to sponsoring this thing to make it all happen. Silver Horde, Dwayne Lanes, Otto, Price Ford, Lincoln, Washington Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation. It's Salmon for Soldiers, but they got them involved, of course.
Yeah.
I believe that's with a couple of the guys that are putting this on, probably pulled some strings to get those guys involved. John Sporting Goods. You got a handful of others.
I think there's Kitsap Marine and Tito's Vodka. Friday Harbor Salmon Classic is huge. And I think I think that's all I have on my list that you didn't have.
So this was established 2013, I think you said, right? A couple of guys got together, and who's the drivers behind this thing? It's a great event. Tell us a little bit about who started getting it going and how it's kind of evolved into what it is today.
I think what we believe was Rob Ensley and Randy Shelton.
Yeah.
They just kind of got the idea. I think they wanted to just take a few vets out fishing, and I think it turned out to be such a wonderful thing that they wanted to keep doing it more and more, and they and every year they've had more and more people sign up, and people want to sponsor and be part of it, and it's gotten bigger and bigger. I think we have 500 vets, I think.
This year?
Yeah.
No kidding.
126 boats. A lot of those are privates that are.
Yeah. Now, so this is an interesting thing. You have professional guys or charter captains that donate their time and their boats, but the majority of these boats are just from recreational anglers who spend time on Puget Sound waters and are comfortable with taking people out fishing. They say, you know what, I'm offering up my services, my boat, my gear that day, and let's put some vets in my boat and go fishing. Isn't that kind of how it works?
Yeah, it's kind of how it works, and I think most of the money comes from private donations and people just wanting, regular Joes too that just want to help and think it's a great cause, which it absolutely is.
There's a one-day event.
A one-day event.
Versus, some of the derbies on the Northwest Salmon Derby Series are a couple-day events, right? So this is a one-day event Saturday.
It is. But one thing I do think I want to note, like, Nick is very passionate about this too. So he runs, and we've done at least 5 to 6 trips a year. Yeah. I think so, and I know that we're not the only ones.
Taking veterans.
We're taking veterans, or we've taken veterans and their families. That's kind of our thing on our boat. Poor Nick, he gets the kids. Thanks to me.
Thanks to you.
But we usually they give us the families, and I can't wait to see who we get. They're really excited to see who they give. Yeah, I think they're going to give us littles. Again, so I'm happy. But I mean, I think that's so neat because we forget it's so nice for the veterans to be out there, right, and relaxed and happy and be with other veterans. But a lot of times people don't get to do it with their families and their kids. And we had taken out a family that I thought was just so precious, and the wife had kind of whispered in my ear and hugged me and thanked me and said, we don't get to see him like this very often. Yeah. And, it's so relaxed and joyful, and the kids are so happy, and I think it's a really big gift that we get to provide.
Well, I think people often forget, there's a number of different nonprofit groups that support soldiers and getting them out to do things such as fishing and hunting, right?
Right.
And this is unique in the size of this thing, what it's grown to. The guys have done a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
But you hit it right on the head there. There's the veterans who are dealing with maybe perhaps some physical disability from an injury over in a conflict, or there is the mental side of things and the PTSD for a lot of them. And they're dealing with demons that they just, day in and day out, they're still trying to find a way to find some normalcy.
Yeah.
Well, the family deals with that too, right? So to be able to come out as a veteran and a father and a husband and spend a day on the water with your wife and kids and let them see you in that enjoyment.
Right.
Hopefully, I mean, like you just said, that kind of sparks a side that maybe the wives or the spouses or the kids don't always see in dad, right? So,
right. And it kind of gives them a sense of purpose too. So many of those gentlemen have also said, I want to be a part of this. So then they in turn want to help out or help at the derbies or what other way they can do for their, the other veterans. And it's just the camaraderie that just, the family, and that blows my mind. I mean, they just will do anything for each other, and they have each other's backs. And I just think everyone involved in it, all of the guys that I've met are so dedicated and are so passionately filled to help these vets and do this. And I am just in awe.
Well, what's amazing is these veterans will come out, they experience this amazing day, they have fun, they meet people. Next year they're bringing back some other buddy who's a vet who might be struggling or having a hard time getting in an environment where there's a lot of people. Some of these guys just don't want to be around people. And this is the kind of thing that kind of opens that door to get them back in society, kind of, larger groups, because it all culminates with an awards banquet at the end of the day, does it not?
It does.
The prizes given, awards given. Talk a little bit about that, how it all comes together.
At the end, they do have, I think they have raffles and they have food, and you can sit and, there's awards that they're giving out for the prizes for the fish, just like any other, but you can see how excited they all are to be there and talk to each other about, their day of fishing, and it's like being with a family, just a really large-sized family, and they're all at peace. It is like a sense of normalcy.
Right.
Yeah, so.
The thing is, everybody comes together because of fish. At the end of the day.
At the end of the day.
It's like, this is what fishing should be about or is about, and people forget that. Fishing is supposed to be fun. When you are out on the river or out on Puget Sound or out on a lake or wherever it is, when you see people at the boat ramp, hey, good morning, how's it going, guys? Or you float down the river in the drift boat, and just you should be saying hi to people.
Right.
Instead, you get some of this, just, I don't know, BS mentality, and people don't want to talk. It's like, don't talk to me, don't look at me, don't try to figure out what I'm doing because I'm catching my fish and then your damn business. And it's just, there's that side of it, but we floated the river the other day, and every single boat we went by, we said hi or talk to. Right. Every boat we went by, we talked to. And at the end of the day, Jordan was kind of like, well, gosh, man, that was kind of neat because everybody was saying hi and everybody's talking, and that's what it should be about. In events like this, there's no pressure. You don't have guides trying to make money for the day. You don't have, nobody really cares about making a buck. It's all about providing an experience for those who are there to attend. And if everybody's smiling and having a good time, that should remind us all that, you know what, this is what fishing is supposed to be about.
Yeah, and I think that's what I love so much about it. And I think that's why, for me, I'm that crazy lady out there on the water that's just waving at everybody and happy.
We've heard that. Crazy lady. Here she comes again.
I'm at least making happy and at least making somebody smile. And when I got my first middle finger, I knew I was family.
Oh, yeah.
I knew they'd accepted me. But, I mean, everywhere you go, that's the only thing that I feel so much joy about. Yeah. That's why I do these things.
Right.
And that's the ones that I, feel so passionate about. They bring so much joy to others. And Salmon for Soldiers, they really do. And I want to say that Silver Horde does a commemorative lure every year, too.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
And they give
Credit
one to
Kelly
everybody.
Morrison. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
So, they're one big family.
Yeah. Well, awesome that you are involved with that, and obviously in all your spare time. So, if we've learned nothing here tonight, Barnum, it's,
We're lazy. That's
what are you all doing?
I feel like I need to get something going in my life. This is
we don't have enough to do.
We sit around way too much compared to her. So anyway, all right. Anything else you want to finish up with before we get out of here? I mean, we've covered a lot of ground. Youth for Outdoors and Salmon for Soldiers and Wraptor Rods and.
We did a little of everything.
Yeah, well, that's you, right? In a nutshell, that's what you
I do want to just quickly, if I can, first of all, thank all the guys like John Kaiser, Dave Johnson, all the other guys from Salmon for Soldiers that really have, and All-Star Charters, they've all taken me under my wing. There's no way I could win a derby fish or
second place last week, by the way. I didn't mention that.
Did I mention that?
Oh, second place,
the last 10 minutes, too.
It's always the last 10 minutes that ruins it.
I know.
You were so there.
So there. But, you're so there not by yourself. It's, the whole package. Yeah. It was kind of neat to get that fish on air, but... it's just, I don't know. I'm so lucky because if I wasn't learning from the best, if I wasn't hanging out with the best, if they didn't care enough to teach and want to pass this on and keep, that kind of stuff going in our industry. And women in the industry now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's phenomenal. I mean, it's so great to see and be a part of a lot of the other women organizations
Well,
or derbies or tournaments.
ladies like you that kind of put yourself out there, take a little risk, and are willing to deal with some of the,
Huge risk.
you know.
Yeah.
No, you, Brianna, Amy Spoon gets out there and kind of mixes it up in the hunting realm. I mean, they got some of these women's events that go on that are getting more popular day in and day out.
Right.
More ladies are taking up archery. Hunting is becoming a big deal.
Yeah.
Very popular. There's a few staples in the Northwest that are involved in a lot of different types of things, and you, my friend, are definitely one of them. So,
Thank you.
Absolutely.
And you can't forget the ladies that aren't all over social media or aren't anywhere else. There's a lot of women out there just kicking butt in both, the hunting and fishing that are just doing it and teaching others, and they're just they're just not out there as much, but they are really.
There are ladies putting on classes, workshops,
Absolutely.
weekend events, guides, outfitters.
Yeah.
Some of the ladies down on the Columbia River are second to none. They are getting it down and kicking butt. So, absolutely. So that's your destiny. Or if it was back in the future, it'd be your density. It's your density.
I just want to keep fishing. I don't care what I fish for, and I just want to help people. I'll be back in a story with Bill Monroe Jr. And Drew and Martin on Wednesday, and
very nice.
Yeah, I'm excited.
It's another little drive for you. This is nothing. Matter of fact, you almost go right by here.
I'm getting tired. I'm gonna get a chauffeur, but
fall salmon season's just getting going. You can't be tired.
Now it's time to head to Mexico. That's right. I'm going to Mexico for the Salt Patrol tournament.
That's coming up.
That is coming up.
Nasty weather hits. Coach Kaiser knows where to go.
Yes, he does, and I'm
salty dog.
I'm following him. The second year, and that's an awesome place.
Let's talk to him. Sherry and I need to make it down there one year.
You need to do
Wouldn't that
that.
be something?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. Next year, we'll make that happen. Write that down, Ching. All right. Really, really do appreciate you coming by this evening.
Thank you.
It was a lighthearted evening, talking about a lot of really feel-good stuff that we don't always get to target here on Fish on Northwest. So trying to get the word out there, let people know there's more going on out there than just bonking fish and killing
We all need to do our part in some way.
Yeah, we certainly do.
In some way. So anyways, thank you so much, Erlen. Come on.
You're going to have to come back.
I'd love to.
And,
I'm just going to have to stay a couple days. The way Sherry cooks and
I should be 400 pounds.
And football and
Well, we'll do all that. All right. That's going to wrap it up for us here this week on FHN. Appreciate all the activity here tonight and the old messages. We didn't get to all of them, but I will continue to answer those after the show because that's the only time I can.
Because you don't sleep.
I don't sleep. I sleep an hour. Look at my face, you can tell. An hour of sleep a night. So we will be back next Thursday, 7 p.m. right here. Check us out during the week on our Facebook page. Make sure you get on there, get interactive, share our content, ask questions, post questions, comments, complaints, whatever. What do you think about Barnum's hair?
Yeah.
Should he keep going with the mullet?
You guys want more mullet?
Bring back the mullet? 2 years from now, it will be a skullet. I guarantee it. We're heading down that road. But anyway. All right. Have a great week, everyone. Be interactive with us on our social media, and we will see you here next Thursday, 7 p.m. Good night.